Still terror into the hearts of the unbelievers. Smite ye above their necks. That suggests there may have been some connection in this guy's mind between beheading people and radical Islam, which he was trying to convert people to, and they objected, and then he got suspended.
Well, first, Megan, it's important to say that violence of any kind like this is abhorred, which is why we had wholly rejected this barbaric and inhumane act. Now, aside from the fact that the case does show, the DA and the prosecutors, that he was actually suspended for racist remarks, not for trying to convert people. Aside from that,
no, they have not ruled that out. That's not true. That's just an additional element. He didn't like whites, and he didn't like non-Muslims either. I'm just quoting the district attorney, right? I'm just quoting the district attorney. But the Ahmadiyya Muslim community actually wholeheartedly agrees with Representative Frank Wolf. That this case should be investigated to determine whether this man had any ties with organized terror movements. Now, investigating as terrorism is one thing. Let's assume he didn't, but let me ask you that, because let's assume he didn't. We've been warned by the FBI for months now that you can have homegrown lone wolf terrorists who have no connection to an organized terror group who are nonetheless terrorists, radical Islamists. Do you disagree? We've seen people that have self-radicalized, and so if the debate here is why is it not being called terrorism, the FBI has already published on their website the definition of terrorism, and you didn't bring me on here as a legal expert. You brought me on here as an expert in Islam, and so when we see people like Representative Moore, that's where there's the rub. Is there's one thing to investigate this as terrorism, which we agree should be investigated to determine, but there's quite another matter to say that this is, like Representative Moore has said, that this is a clear indication of something reflective of Sharia, and the Sharia should be preemptive or stopped or scrutinized. That's not a rational conclusion based off of the actions of this insane man who turned to violence. Well, so I mean, this insane man was praising Sharia. The reason they went there is because this man praised Sharia all over his Facebook page, which has now been taken down, but we actually studied it at length, is jihad, jihad, jihad. America's wicked. It should be attacked. Sharia law is coming. The Statue of Liberty is going into flames. She and anybody who is with her. Islam will dominate the world. Freedom can go to hell. Pictures of beheadings. And then lo and behold, what does he do after he fails to convert people to Islam? He cuts off their heads. People think there might be a connection.
Well, there again, what we're trying to bring forth is you can talk about the actions of these lunatics, but anyone who says, like Representative Moore, that Sharia law is threatening America is not only ignorant on Sharia, they're ignorant of the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Constitution is the most Sharia-oriented law in the world, and the U.S. Constitution also has a built-in mechanism that protects it from being usurped.
Under our U.S. Constitution, you can't stone a woman for adultery. You can't bury her in the sand and then stone her to death by hitting her head with rocks.
And that's not Sharia law. That's why
actually,
you know
yes,
us,
that is done
Megan,
under Sharia
you know
law.
that we are more than willing to talk about Sharia law, and that's not what Sharia is according to Islam, and we're more than happy to have that dialogue. But that is done under Sharia law.
Not only that, but stoning for adultery
and
so on.
What Sharia are we talking about? Every country has a different Sharia, Megan, so let's talk about this more.
I didn't say under